name is Kelby. I'm the CEO here at On the Road Again.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm very glad that you're interested in our occupational therapy position.
Yeah, I really appreciate this opportunity to be here.
Awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and get started if you want to have a seat.
Sure.
So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. To get started, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm originally from New Mexico. My background to date has been centered around preparing myself to become the very best occupational therapist I can become. Let me tell you specifically how I've prepared myself. I did my undergraduate in New Mexico State University in kinesiology, specifically exercise science.
Okay.
And I did my master's of occupational therapy at the University of Texas in El Paso.
Okay.
Through that, my field experience has been in pediatrics and adult inpatient. And I feel like these experiences have helped to prepare me well for my first OT position.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. So why did you decide to become an occupational therapist?
Well, at first, I was more interested in physical therapy, and I observed in that setting, and I mean, it was interesting, but one day I was able to observe the PT and the OT working together, and I saw that the occupational therapist had a lot more variety in their treatment, and I really liked that, not only in that setting, but also various other settings. So it just really stuck with me, and once I observed it, I really liked it, and I just felt like that was a better fit for me.
Okay. I can relate to that. I started out with PT as well, so I understand. So why are you interested working for us here at On the Road Again?
I think it was my fieldwork rotation 2 was at William Beaumont here in El Paso, and they had a driving rehabilitation program there, and that sparked my interest right away. I kind of saw what they were about, and I really liked that. I have a family member who would greatly benefit from this program, and it's really near and dear to my heart. Okay. I love what this company stands for and is trying to do in the community, and it would be a great honor for me and a privilege to be a part of this new journey that you are starting now.
Well, awesome. I'm glad that you want to be a part of us getting started and getting on our feet, so that's great to hear. So what would you say is one of your weaknesses?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, I would say one of my weaknesses is that I tend to be a perfectionist.
Okay.
I have a hard time delegating tasks to others, but I've come to see that teamwork and capitalizing on everyone's strength is a much more effective way to get the job done than trying to do it all by myself, and that's a lot more stressful too.
Yeah. Okay, so why do you think that you'd be the best candidate for this position?
Well, I really believe that I'm the best person for this job. Like other candidates, I have the ability to do this job, but beyond that ability, I offer an additional quality such as my drive for excellence. I put every part of myself into achieving my goals. Throughout my education, I have consistently strived to become the very best I can become. The success I've attained in my studies is the result of my possessing the qualities you're looking for in an employee.
Okay. All right. So here at On the Road Again, you're going to be working in teams a lot with other therapists and doing a lot of team meetings in the mornings and stuff like that. So I just want to know what qualities you would bring to the team.
Well, throughout my studies, I had to work in teams countless times. And I've really learned that being a positive group member gets the best results, not only for the team, but also for the patient and working towards our common goals.
Okay.
I often found myself in a leadership position in groups, but I'm also willing to let others take the initiative when needed.
Okay.
Overall, a good balance between all members leads to success.
That is very true. Okay, so I know you've done some field work. You mentioned that, and I know you've had to do observation hours. So I was just wondering what types of populations you've worked with.
I've had exposure with several populations, including geriatrics, adult rehab, early intervention, school age pediatrics, and like I mentioned earlier, I also worked with veterans at William Beaumont. But there's so many populations to work with in this field, and that's what I love about occupational therapy. Although I've not worked directly with this driving rehabilitation, I would love to expand my knowledge by working in this type of specialty with your company.
Awesome. So yeah, we have some first-time driving rehab specialists here too. So you'd be learning with them. We also have one veteran, so she'd be there to help us out. So yeah. So can you tell me about a challenging time and how you handled it?
A challenging time?
It can be in relation to everyday life, or maybe to some of your field work or something like that.
Okay. When I was working with the school age children, I had a child who would act out sometimes, so I had to find other methods to work with him. One time that specifically stands out, I went to go get him from class, and as I was taking him to our therapy room, another therapist was walking by and asked him if he was going to recess. And of course, you know, kids love going outside and getting some fresh air, and he wanted to go to recess. So I told him all the fun things we were going to be doing in therapy, and that did not convince him, and he threw a tantrum and tried running off, and I had to go and get him, and I just decided that it wasn't the best time to take him to therapy.
Okay.
He might not get the best treatment because of his attitude towards, you know, he'd rather go out to recess. So I just decided to adapt and let him go out to recess, and I would come and get him later. So I just changed around my schedule so that I could get him later once he, you know, let out his energy and had fun at recess, and then was ready to come to therapy with me.
Okay. All right. So now on the other side, can you tell me about a time when you felt most proud to be in the OT profession?
The most proud. Well, I feel like there's so many to choose from. It's kind of hard to pick one. Maybe, well, whenever I was working in the geriatric setting, I felt like they are really appreciative of the work that we do. I mean, everyone else, all other settings, they also are appreciative, but I feel like it's really sincere in the geriatric setting. Sometimes you're the only person that they see, so I just feel like it's more personal to them because they may not see their family every day or every week, or, you know, sometimes it's just really hard, and I mean, that's heartbreaking, but I mean, they really appreciate you going in every day and seeing them and just taking care of them and helping them meet the goals that they are trying to achieve in order to be independent. And I mean, usually they just want to get home, so they just want to be able to do things on their own. And I feel like that's just a great feeling to help them to get to meet their goals in general.
Okay, that is very true. So I have one last question, and it is, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do. I have a few.
Okay.
So I was wondering about the certification for driving rehabilitation, and when would I have to have that completed by?
So we would require here that you have that completed before you started. You couldn't work with any patients or anything like that until you had your certification. And we would direct you, you know, where to go and how to get it and all that. Like I said, we have some occupational therapists here that have already gotten it, and we still have a few that are working on it. So we have people here to help you in that process.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Are there any other questions?
I was wondering, would we be paying for that, or is that something that the company would pay for?
Very good question. So you would go get your driving rehab certification, and you would pay for it yourself, and then the company would reimburse you for that. It is something that is extra, something that you wouldn't normally have, so we would definitely reimburse you for that.
Okay. I also have one more question.
Okay.
Since you are a new company, how would I be able to help your company meet their goals?
Okay, so one of our main goals right now is, since we are new and starting out, and there aren't a lot of driving rehab programs in El Paso, we want to get word out to the community that we're here to help, the younger population, the teenagers who might have a disability that want to be able to drive, like an average teenager. Or, for older adults who are in that aging process and want to still keep their independence in driving. So we want to get word out there to the people in the community that we are here to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So, in addition to your daily tasks as an OT here at On the Road Again, it would really benefit us if you could, spread the word and help get word out that we are here in the community.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. Any further questions?
I think that's it.
All right.
So far.
All right. Well, it was very nice to meet you, and I'll be back in contact with you in about a week.
Okay, perfect. Thank
All
you.
right.
It was
Thank you
great
so
to
much.
meet you.
You too.
Have a nice day.
You too.